it's so important for us to strength train in order to help our bone density, cognitive function.
And, unfortunately, once we hit 40, we're losing up to 8% of our muscle per decade. So now we're working against time. And if we're not building it, we're losing it.
How often do you recommend that women need to strength train? If you love diving into the latest wellness secrets on the podcast, then you're going to want to join my exclusive weekly newsletter. Get insider wellness tips you won't hear anywhere else. Be the first to know about my upcoming fasting workshops because let's be real, fasting is the secret weapon for surviving perimenopause. Access my weekly essentials, tools, and biohacks to help you thrive in midlife. I promise to make it worth your while, straight to the point, no fluff, just powerful tips to help you feel your best every single week. Don't miss out. Sign up now at thewelldrop.com. Let's take your wellness to the next level together. Welcome back to The Well Drop. I'm your host, Amber Berger, and today we're diving into a topic that's vital for women navigating the transformative years of midlife, and that's strength training. Joining us is a very special guest, Holly Rillinger, the creator of the Lifted Method and Blueprint. Holly is a Nike master trainer and has revolutionized the way we think about fitness for women in midlife with a science-backed strength training approach that's not just about looking good, but feeling powerful and staying healthy for years to come. The Lifted Method combined group strength training, weightlifting, and high-intensity interval training in a dynamic, high-energy format that's tailored specifically to enhancing longevity, improve body composition, boost bone density, and sharpen cognitive function. Holly's innovative programs include the unique 21-day Lifted Blueprint and the GLP-1 Blueprint for those on specific medications, offering personalized and effective fitness solutions that cater to the unique needs of midlife women. Today, Holly will share with us the science behind her method, the inspiring stories of women who have transformed their lives through her programs, and how you can start incorporating strength training into your life, whether you're at home or in the studio. So whether you're looking to reinvigorate your fitness routine or just starting your strength training journey, grab your water bottle and let's get ready to be uplifted with Holly on The Well Drop. Welcome, Holly.
Wow, that was very informative, and
you do a lot.
You captured it all very well. Thank you for having me here.
It's my pleasure. You are a fitness trailblazer. I mean, you're a former athlete. You've been in this space for a very long time. And I love that you are now, you have like a whole overarching Lifted method, but I love how you've created this blueprint for women in midlife. Can you tell me what sort of inspired you to create this program for women? And what was the white space that you saw that there was a need for this?
Yeah, well, when I was entering my 40s, there was not very much talk about menopause, and there was just sort of this looming change that was coming. And I personally was terrified. I was like, wait a minute, everything I'm doing isn't going to matter anymore. Like, I'm just suddenly going to gain 20 pounds. I was like, I actually thought maybe I'd be an anomaly. Like, I was like, there's no way that's happening to me. And I started to do some research just on hormones. And seriously, at that time, the only books you could find that were medical journals were written by Suzanne Summers. Yeah. And that's all you could find. And I was just like, I was actually looking for conferences that I could go to. And they typically, if you weren't a doctor, you couldn't go. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so terrified. What's going to happen? Like, and
there was no information. It's a good point.
No one's going to want to learn from a trainer like me because I'm just going to be old. And, the new crop of 30 and 20-year-olds are going to come around. And I was just like, no way. There's just no way. And like, I feel really grateful that I'm living in the time I'm living in right now. And, Dr. Mary Claire Haver and Dr. Kelly Casperson and Dr. Corinne Menn and Dr. Rocio Whalen and Dr. Sharon Malone. Like, I've met all of them. I've spoken with them. I've presented with them. And like, thank God. So that's really the impetus. Was I was scared for myself, and I wanted to be able to look at my clients and they started coming to me going like, I don't know what's going on. And I was like, I don't either. So here we are, and we know a lot more now.
Hey everyone, taking a quick second to interrupt to tell you about something I've been taking for months now, and wow, have I noticed a difference. A huge shift, and it's called True Niagen. It's a total game changer for everyday wellness. So here's a scoop. True Niagen works by increasing your NAD levels. Think of NAD as your fuel for your cells, needing to keep you energized, resilient, and thriving. And as we age, those levels naturally decline, which can leave us feeling tired, sluggish, and basically off our game. But with True Niagen, I feel a real difference, more energy. It's like my inner battery is fully charged every day. Faster recovery, whether it's from a tough workout or just the demands of life, I bounce back quicker. Healthy aging, it's not just about feeling great today, it's about creating a foundation for long term vitality. Thousands of people swear by it, and now I'm one of them. So, if you're looking for a simple way to level up your health and wellness, you need to check it out. Start your True Niagen journey today and feel the difference. Head to the link in the show notes, get a discount off your first order because feeling energized, strong, and unstoppable is always in style. Now, let's get back to the show. Yep, the times are changing. We are sort of living through it. And, even just from a fitness standpoint, I didn't know how much you have to kind of shift what you're doing as you enter into this midlife phase, right? Like menopause is a whole different phase than perimenopause, but you sort of have to kind of start from the beginning of it or even before you enter it. So, really, in your 30s, shift those habits, whatever they are. I think most of us probably can be cardio junkies in our 20s. Nothing really matters or affects you. You go kind of play around, do whatever you want, but then create these strong habits that can guide you through those transitional years so that you can feel your best, look your best, and not live with this sense of fear of like this impending doom of what's going to happen down the
Yeah, well,
road.
actually, I just listened to a really great podcast the other day, and I heard Peter Attia talk about like actually our 20s are very important. We've stopped laying down new bone by the time we hit 30, and a lot of our musculature will be developed in our 20s. And at 20, you're not thinking about longevity. You're thinking about
No.
how to recover from last night, how good you look, how skinny you are. And I was just like, wow, that's a generation that, is hard to capture and really hard to say, listen, this is really important. I'm lucky because I was an athlete. So, I was playing professional basketball in my 20s. So my body was everything stronger, faster, quicker. And I was really, taking care of it. But, for the normal 20-year-old who's working 16-hour days and like just trying to make it it's certainly if you could start in your 20s and start to create these habits, like my dream is one day it's just like brushing your teeth. We
Yeah.
all know we lift weights, we get our cardio in, we eat protein, and it's just what we know.
Yeah. And what is the science behind like the benefits of strength training? Why is it so important for us to strength train in order to help our bone density, cognitive function?
Yeah, I mean it's really the 1-2 punch. Like I posted a slightly provocative post yesterday on
Ugh.
Instagram talking about everybody doing those leg lifts, just lifting your leg, lifting your leg, lifting your leg. Like,
The weight on the 1 pounders on your ankles. What is that
yeah, I
doing?
mean, I like to say it's like using a spoon to dig a ditch. Like you're gonna sweat, you're gonna feel the burn, but you're not using a shovel, and the shovel is what's really gonna get it done. And we do live in a society where time is precious. We don't all have 2 hours a day.
No.
So those workouts should be your ones that are like, that's fun. I like the music,
Yeah,
it
good
shouldn't
energy.
be, yeah, like I just love it. Like I go and surf, like, because I love it, not because I'm increasing my bone density or I'm building muscle. I
Yeah.
just love it. But when it comes to strength training and why it's kind of the fountain of youth or the gold standard is because of what it actually does to us physiologically. And it actually breaks down our body. It damages the bone, it damages the muscle. It increases blood flow when you want to talk about cognitive function. And muscularly, what happens is that damage that we do to the muscle, it hikes our metabolism up. So we're naturally burning more fat. And then the more muscle we have on our body, the higher our metabolism is naturally. And, unfortunately, once we hit 40, we're losing up to 8% of our muscle per decade. So now we're working against time. And if we're not building it, we're losing it. So it's best to start to form those habits when you're young. We also stop building bone by age 30. So, and when we lift weights, just so we understand, why does weightlifting like help, increase bone density? Our ligaments and our tendons are pulling on that bone filament. It's almost like creating these little micro damages. Again, it's all about damaging the body so it'll repair. Anybody that's gone and done a skin treatment, you damage it, the
Yeah, we do
collagen
it a lot
floods
with
to the
our
face,
lasers.
right?
Heels. But we
So
don't
it's
think
the same
about that
thing.
from a muscle and bone standpoint, and also from an insulin sensitivity standpoint. As we get older, our body becomes more metabolically inflexible. So the more muscle you have, the more your body can respond to sugar and has places to store, rather than stores it into your muscles to then use when you're working out, versus storing it in fat. And then that becomes its own metabolic system, which you don't want to grow.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, it's literally the magic bullet.
yeah.
It's muscle.
I
Yeah.
wish I loved it. It's funny, in my 20s, I don't even think I lifted a weight. Maybe I did some of those machines. I mean, I don't even know, like, what I
Well,
did.
it's a hard sell for women. Guys love it. They like the grittiness of it. They want to get stronger. They want to get bigger. And I do think what women have to understand is we're not men. Like when we go in and we lift those heavy weights, we're not going to look like them.
Yeah,
We
we
don't
used
have
to
the
have
same
that fear. I think that
genetic
narrative is
profile.
shifting, which I think is great. Yeah, I think I used to only lift weights maybe once a week. Barry's boot camp for me was probably the first time I actually lifted some weights, but it was a combination with that and cardio, and it helped to encourage women to lift heavier. For me, heavy was 15 pounds. Like, that was a
Hey,
big
that's a lot
deal.
better than a lot of women. I mean, we say that we see the mentality shifting, but the number of women I still see in these workouts where you're lifting your leg with no weight, you're literally just lifting your leg up and
I
down.
think
Or I want to know, I want to go interview each of those women as they come out. And I'm like, what is it? What do you enjoy about it? What do you enjoy about it? What do you think's, happening? Because there's
I think
very
it's probably
capable
the
people.
calorie burn, and the interesting part would be to find somebody who did those types of workouts, but now there must be in their 70s and 80s, and see how they're feeling and functioning. Because I agree, like, it looks pretty long, lean, and toned, and if you are a model, like, that's amazing. You can probably be, like, ripped, and you're so tall and skinny, so you can kinda have that body. That's not the average American by any means, and
Yeah.
so if you're, like you were saying, because we're losing muscle each decade, like, that starts to compound over time, and if we're not building, like, I'm right now in a phase where I'm trying to, like, build muscle because I know I'm gonna be losing the muscle, so, like, it doesn't
There you
matter.
go. Yeah.
I almost wanna, like, shift and create the trend, like, "Everyone, I want you to gain 5 pounds this year." Like, nobody's
I
losing it. I
know.
want you to gain 5 pounds and make it muscle. Like, I think that would
Well,
be transformative
we
for
actually have
people.
an in body in our studio, and watching women get on that in body and really focus on the muscle number instead of the
Pounds.
scary weight number is so transformative, because what happens is they get on it again in 4 weeks and they've not lost any weight, but they lost 4 pounds of muscle, and they gained 4 pounds of muscle, lost 4 pounds of fat. And they're like, wait
Oh,
a minute, I'm not bulky. I'm actually, my clothes are fitting better. I'm leaner. And it's just like, just I personally would love to get more women on that in body and be like, listen, because it's experiential that way. To tell someone that this is what's going to happen is just a harder sell. But have them experience what it's like to gain 4 pounds of muscle, they're like, wow, I actually like the way I look and I feel.
I think that's genius. I think that's great, and I think hopefully if somebody's listening, see if you can go find an in-body scan somewhere and kinda, like, set that baseline for yourself. Don't look at that weight number, because I don't know what it is, but for some reason, it seems like that weight number, they always tell you don't look at it even if it goes up or down, but it's the muscle fat composition that really makes the difference. Like, who cares what
It's
your
the
number.
only thing that matters,
Yeah.
and when you can decondition yourself in a society that's very much conditioned to worry about how much you weigh, but when you can actually just focus on that number, it's very liberating. Like that number on the scale can ruin your day if
Oh,
if
yeah.
it's just that
I don't
number,
even weigh myself, but I have many friends, they weigh
No.
themselves every day, and I think that's probably most women. I can't, because I think I'll drive myself crazy. I just don't wanna be
Yeah.
on that roller coaster. I just can I
No,
think
I
it
don't
also,
like
like,
it.
removes you from being connected to your body, like, I could just, like, feel when like, "Oh, I feel good," or "I don't."
Totally.
Like, I don't care what my number is. It doesn't.
Exactly. And by the way, you can get your own InBody at home. Their new H30, I think it's the H30 is a really I have it. It works really well. So and I think it's like $300, but if you're gonna have a scale at home, let that be the one because it's going to tell you visceral fat. It'll measure visceral fat, which is something
Yeah,
that's very important as you go into menopause. But that's the kind of scale you should have at home, not the one that just gives you that one very, you know, insignificant
number.
number.
Exactly. So tell us, what is this lifted blueprint, and how is it unique, and what are the core components of it in regards to strength training?
Yeah, so we realized that women now in their 40s, 50s, 60s, they didn't have any role models growing up lifting weights. I certainly didn't. My mom didn't lift weights. I didn't have any coaches that lifted weights. We didn't really even lift weights. It's just that I had a dream of playing pro basketball, so I got in there and I did it. And I was usually the only girl in there. So we realized it's a very intimidating environment, to go into a gym and not know what you're doing and think everybody's looking at you and not know if you're doing it right. So we created Lifted Blueprint specifically for the woman in midlife, a very safe environment. It's completely virtual. It's 21 days and it kind of teaches you the nuts and bolts of everything to create your foundation about strength training. So what kind of equipment you need, and we suggest very minimal equipment at home just to get started, 3 sets of dumbbells, a yoga mat, and a booty band. And then we take you through why protein? How much do you need of it? How do you warm up? How do I work around injuries? What if I have osteoporosis? What shouldn't I do and what should I do?
I like
We
that.
take you through a bunch of form sessions where you learn how to do the uh, base movements like squats, lunges, deadlifts, chest presses, rows, curls. We have a live workout that you do in the middle of it. So I get to actually coach you if you put your camera on, which has been very, very helpful for people. And then we've actually just launched Blueprint 2. So you can go from that 21 days, which you feel is a good amount of time in a very supportive community where we have coaches that you can ask questions. And then you jump a week later into Blueprint 2, which is another 21-day program that's going to take you from a beginner to like an advanced beginner. We talk about plyometric, jump training, sprint training, tempo training. We talk about food journaling, the importance of carbohydrates and fats. And so we kind of,
Wow, so it's
after
more than
those
just a
42
strength
days,
training program. This is like a total overall wellness program. I mean, it sounds like
it
there's a
is,
lot
and
there.
it's just important to know that strength training alone, without taking your entire lifestyle into consideration, it's going to be helpful, but it's not going to be as effective. Like if
Yeah.
I'm strength training and I'm not eating any protein, or I'm not getting enough sleep, or I'm not doing the proper amount of weight, like there's things you need to know to really make sure that you're spending your time in a very effective way.
I think that's great. And is there anything in particular as to the 21 days? Like, does it take that long for someone to create a new habit? Like, how did you choose 21 days?
Yeah, 21 days is a great amount of time to build a habit. And we've also just found that with the information that we have, people have busy lives. They're not going to want to dedicate 3 hours a day to this. So, all of our lessons, like we have a kickoff call that's live and then everything's on demand. It's never more than an hour. Gives you some days off where there might just be a lesson where we talk about commitment because you're sore and you need to, walk off the soreness. So we felt like from a habit building perspective, it's a great amount of time, and just be able to learn the information in a digestible pace that feels like it's not too fast and it's not too slow.
And so this is a strictly virtual program that basically for your workout times, you can kind of plan it whenever you want. And then once a week is a live where you can then watch somebody's form. Because I think most people are always nervous with the way it's like, oh, what if my form is wrong? I'm going to hurt
Yeah,
myself. That you then can kind of tweak it. So it's really actually like personalized also.
it is in the sense that during that workout, I mean, I change everybody's deadlift. I change everybody's,
Wow.
and every single person, I'm like, you need heavier weights. You need heavier weights. Like literally everyone is stronger than I think. And I can watch the speed at the dumbbell moving, and I'm like, mm-mm. And there, and I can change it right
It's
away. We also
true.
encourage,
I was gonna
we
say, why
encourage,
are we stronger than we think? I even get that at the gym because it's new for me to lift weights, and like they laugh at me. Like my trainer is like, "You're so much stronger than you think you are." Like I don't know why I maybe don't even think that I'm strong. I guess maybe because I just never have done it, or maybe we just don't push ourselves to that maximum capacity? Like, what is that?
I think in general, women are are societally, we're meant to be like, like, I don't know, maybe I could do more, like we don't think we're an expert in anything. Like men are like, they'll go pick up 2 times too heavy and have to like embarrassingly go put it back. They just overshoot on everything. They're
Yeah.
mega confident. You know what I mean? Like I was speaking, this woman at Columbia who's a psychologist was speaking, and she said they were at this conference and they were like, who knows about breastfeeding? And like there was actually mothers. They were like, I mean, yes. Yeah. And I'm not an expert. And a guy was like, he was like, well, I was breastfed. I know about it. Like that's the difference between
I
men and
guess.
women.
Yeah.
They're just
I suppose it is really weird, but I almost find in a cardio class, like women don't have a problem holding back. Like they will like
well, that's
sprint it and run it. Like there's something that they just feel more comfortable with it. Maybe just because that's how we're conditioned. We're just used to that from since we've been kids.
yeah, I think it's a newer thing for women in general. Like again, I think this crop of women or girls growing up are more exposed to it. But like, I think most women in their 30s, 40s, 50s, like they didn't really grow up with something that they did. So hopefully
No.
that'll change. It's not going to be such a male dominated
Yeah.
activity.
And you are part of the change. I love that your lifted motto is clearer, stronger, happier. Can you share a success story of a woman in midlife who's transformed their health and their wellness through your program?
Oh yeah. And the reason we use that motto is because when you think about strength training, you think about fitness, like it doesn't just improve your body, it improves your mood. Like it takes me from an insane person at 8 a.m. to like a very solid, grounded person at 10 a.m. It just
Like
changes
your
your brain
version of
chemistry.
yoga, meditation.
Exactly. I mean, just move your body. And so we've had some great success stories for Deborah Kopagan. She's a writer. She's a journalist. She has a blog called Lady Parts, and she took herself from osteoporosis and reversed it through strength training.
Wow.
So we're seeing women who are kind of a lot of women come to me, unfortunately, like I have osteoporosis, help now. What do I do? And sadly, that's why I do post these provocative posts. I'm like, don't wait until
Don't
you get
wait.
the diagnosis and then get serious about
Yeah,
it. But the good news is someone like her, like she comes to class virtually, hits class like 3 times a week, and like she's rehearsed it.
that's
And
huge.
there's other people who are just like, you know what, this helped me through my divorce. Like this helped me find myself again. It made me feel good about myself. I feel empowered. I feel strong. I feel capable. So when you think about it as a tool for life,
Yeah.
in addition to strengthening your bones, your muscle, then I think it really becomes something that you do every day, no matter how you feel, versus something that you do like yo-yoing it.
Yeah, and how often do you recommend, that women need to strength train in or to see those type of benefits? Because I think I'm always a believer, from wellness to come at it from a preventative standpoint. So if we know, okay, we're losing, muscle mass every decade, we have to build it. But I guess what is like the bare minimum that we need to do for someone who's
So
not?
there's a scientific volume that's been proven that you need to actually build muscle and maintain muscle. And typically you can hit that volume with 3 or 4 days without getting into, I mean, the scientific part is every single muscle group, you should be doing at least 15 sets per muscle group. So typically, if you can get in 3 days of full body strength or 4 days of full body strength, or you start to divide it up, leg day, chest and back day, arms and abs and shoulders day, and then a full body day, you'll typically be able to get to that, I
That's
guess,
a lot.
minimum volume. And you don't want to do a lot more than that either,
Yeah.
because then you're going to overtrain, you're going to have injuries, you're always going to be sore. But the other really important factor is that you're using enough weight to hit a training effect, meaning
That's
if I'm having you do 3 sets of 10, you can't do 15.
mm,
Like I like to say you should never have more than 2 or 3 reps in the bank.
got it.
So
So you
if
wanna
you
be,
could
like,
do five
ungassed
more,
at the end.
yeah, like those last ones
Hard.
should be hard. You should be like, I don't know if I can go up in weight.
Right?
That's how you know you're in the right spot.
Yeah, I think most of us are used to lifting lighter, but many more reps maybe than that.
Yeah, and it's kind of at that point, like over for beginners, I usually start them between 10 and 15 reps. That's sort of building strength, building muscle. When you start to get outside that range, that continuum, it's kind of diminishing returns.
Mhm.
In fact, you're almost just wearing out that joint
Yeah.
without a lot of return. Like
Then
you
you're
only got
injuring yourself, and that's
you've
exactly
only
what you
got
don't
so
want.
many of these in your life. You know, these aren't endless. You
This
can't
is
just do
true.
these. So you
This
might
is
as well make them count.
Yeah, and sometimes you, like, feel muscles you didn't even know existed, like, "Ooh, okay, like, who knew that was there?" Like, my friend, like, pulled something in her shoulder. I mean, it's funny, so I think underuse and overuse is also something to be mindful of.
Yeah, for
In
sure.
in addition, just to, women in midlife and having your blueprint, I love that you also created the GLP-1 program for people because obviously, listen, so many people are on the peptides, so you're moving with the times to help people because I think that's an even bigger problem is most people who there's a lot who needed the GLPs and they really need to lose that weight, and that's great, but there are also people who didn't necessarily need the GLPs, they just didn't necessarily go to the gym. If they did, they probably could
Yeah,
have lost the weight. So now both of those
yeah.
camps are in this, like, ultra fat loss situation, and now they need to build up the muscle. Have you seen a difference in how long it may take them to actually build the muscle versus someone who hadn't been on a GLP?
Um, we're actually just launching the program on March 29th, so it'll be
Ooh,
really
okay.
interesting to see. Yeah, and we partnered with a doctor, Dr. Alexandra Soa. She is actually the author of the Ozempic Revolution. Um, I mean, the biggest challenge is you're not hungry, right?
Yeah,
So you're not eating
enough
maybe as
protein
often. You're
maybe.
not eating enough protein. And then, you know, a lot of these people, no matter why you get into it, but whether you're looking at it for being a magic bullet and like, this is my weight loss plan, or you're somebody that you've never lifted weights before, you're not comfortable with your body. You're actually a little ashamed of your body and you've never been in your body in a way that feels good. So we're working with a lot of barriers there that we hope that we can break through, and a lot of psychological barriers, like how we present this, how we talk to them, the support that we give them
Oh,
will
I
be
think that's
different than somebody
great.
potentially not in a GLP-1. But the biggest downside to GLP-1s is muscle waste, and they've seen studies that show up to 40% of muscle loss. So
Wow.
you're solving one problem, or many. There's a lot of upsides to using
Yeah,
GLP-1s, but that is a big
huge.
downside at the end of the road if you don't have the muscle to support yourself for a strong, healthy life.
I love that. I think it's so nice to have, like, the power of community, right? To, like, keep you propelled forward. So I think, GLPs have done amazing things for people. Obviously, the muscle loss is one of the biggest, losses that you have as your body physically, but it's so nice that you can gather people who all gone through it or probably dealing with the same things. And so then they can all start to, like, get that confidence back and start working out together and learning how to actually, like, fuel their body in another way. They probably will have to force themselves to eat the protein even if they're not hungry. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
Dr. Soa has a support system that includes electrolytes, because a lot of times it's because you've lost your thirst too.
Yeah.
Fiber and protein, very important things, and just knowing what to eat, to give yourself a little bit of fuel, when to eat, when not to eat, because a lot of the problem is you don't feel good. So you don't want to go
Um,
lift weights when you're not feeling good. So being able to put all those things together is going to set the stage for you to have a lot more success. And just for me, dispelling the shame. I think there's a lot of
mhm.
trainers out there who shamed people. There's a lot of upside to these drugs, including a lack of cardiovascular disease, like
Yes. Oh, it's done
20% less risk. Like,
total resets. I think it's gotten, such a bad rap, but GLPs, along with so many other peptides, um,
yeah,
have so many amazing benefits. And then, like any good thing, sometimes things are overused. So obviously, people are going to focus on that. But there
yeah,
is some good and a lot of good that I think it does. And it really helps people
exactly.
from a metabolic standpoint. And now they just have to know to, create some new habits to help keep them feeling good and keep up that initial boost that somebody just might
Yeah.
need. I think it's
I
great.
mean, listen, I love the underdog. I'm 5'4". I played pro basketball, so you can see I'm working with all underdogs. The midlife woman who've been discarded throughout history, the GLP-1 user who like has never really felt good in their body. So like that's my jam. I like the underdogs.
I love that. I mean, to close out this conversation, I always love to end, you work with so many women, which is such an inspiration. And really thank you for creating this program because I think it's so important I love learning from a woman, someone who's gone through it, is living it, and now able to share that with, a greater community. I mean, there's such a real need, like you said. You are going to be the new Suzanne Summers.
Yeah, I like that. I
And
love that.
beyond,
Thank
right? Like
you.
we need this information shared. And I think there's nothing better than like bringing people together to share it with them. So, what is one, I know it's hard to pick one, but one drop of wellness wisdom you like to leave our listeners with today?
Muscle is a longevity just beyond tool. Muscle is everything. And I think the more we learn that, the more we embrace it. Listen, I hated my legs growing up, hated them. I tried to starve myself to get rid of these quads. And it
No.
turns out the more quad muscle you have, the longer life you're going to live.
Yes.
I mean, that's just wild to me. I was trying to like destroy the thing that's going to take me the furthest in life. So I think as women, there's a certain way that we've always expected to look. Let's help each other change that. It happens in conversations. It happens between friends. It happens between mothers and daughters, and sometimes we don't want to hurt people's feelings. But ask your friend, why are you doing that workout? Like, why? So I
Try
think
something
really
new.
understanding muscle is a
Yeah.
gorgeous tool, and it's not just for men; it's for women too. So let's start to embrace it.
I love that. And where can we find the lifted blueprint and lifted method?
Theliftedmethod.com. We have all our information there. You can also follow me on Instagram. It's my full name, Holly Rillinger, or The Lifted Method. We have all our information there. We respond. I try to respond to all my DMs. So
Oh, great. So
hit
message
hit
Holly,
me
all
with the
your
DM,
questions.
and
Don't
and
bombard
I,
her
I
though,
get
but
you.
just you can give her a couple of questions. And we will
Yeah,
put it in the
yeah,
show notes too, so you can sign up and definitely report back. We love to hear all of your successes and, saying Holly your comments of any tweaks. I'm sure she'd love to hear from you. Thank you so
yeah.
much
And
for being with us and for enlightening and creating this amazing program for us ladies. We need it. So thank you.
thank you, Amber, for having me. I appreciate it.